Hey y'all, welcome to the Figuring It Out With You podcast with your favorite mother-daughter duo, where we're in an ever-growing conversation with each other and you all, just trying to figure out how to make the most of the life we've all been given.
I'm Kim.
And I'm Kay.
And let's get this conversation started for today. No. I'm Kim.
And I'm Kay.
Now let's get this conversation started for the day.
That's right. So y'all, today we're going to be talking about, you see, if I had a very concise way to say it, I would in this moment, but I don't. So we're basically going to be talking about how we feel. Basically, what we feel is the role of preparation, one in the outcome of one's life, but also in the general, like I think, day-to-day feelings of success or failure in one's life. Now, you might be asking, what? Basically, the inspiration kind of came from me thinking, well, many things, but one of the things was that I was thinking, and I was like, I feel like there's like these two extremes that people kind of either describe themselves as living or just think about. One is like this extreme like over preparation, like I need to be so prepared type of thing, where you just like actually don't do anything. You're like, I need to be ready, so you just spend all this time like preparing, but then you never do the thing. But then the other extreme is just kind of like, oh, like I'm just vibing, it's all gonna work itself out, you know what I'm saying? In due time, the jobs will come, the opportunity will just appear, kind of thing. And so I was just thinking about like for our own lives, like, yeah, it might be nice to just talk about like, yeah, what we feel like the role of preparation is in like the outcome of our life and how we feel about the trajectory and like whether we feel successful or not. So, Mama,
Yes.
any initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts are, I think that you have to find a perfect balance somewhere in between. That person that's always planning, but never getting anything done. And that person who is just such a free spirit, just floating through life. You have to find a perfect medium. And I think that would be the perfect recipe for success. As far as myself, I don't feel that I had a plan for my life. My life growing up was semi-traumatic, so we were just thankful to get through the next day. And once I started having children, I just knew I had to work to take care of you guys. I never really thought like, what can I do to be the best parent? What jobs do I need to think about getting, or how can I educate myself? I always felt like I didn't have the space or time for higher education once I started having children. And that's not true, because there's so many men and women who have full families that finish college, go on to get master's, doctorate degrees. So that's definitely not the truth, but that's what I told myself throughout life. So I always felt like, well, I don't really have a plan, but I'm just going to do the best I can. Thank God I never did anything illegal. God always made a way for us to have what we needed. But now that I'm older and I'm not as much of a parent as I used to be, I can start thinking about I'm not a parent as much. Y'all don't need me as much.
I hear you, but I don't feel you.
So now I'm thinking about, what do I want to do in the future? What type of plans do I need to make for myself? So preparing is definitely a plus. If you are able to prepare, if you're able to write out a plan, so you'll have a checklist to go by, I'm all for that. Now, when I get up in the morning, I try. The other night, I actually made a calendar of reminders for the day. And I think that happened probably about 4 to 5 days ago.
Okay.
And I have not met everything on my calendar yet. But I have a plan, and I'm going to get to it. So
I feel you. So you kind of described like you feel like the role of preparation earlier in your life was kind of like very slim to none. Like
Right.
there weren't really things that you like envisioned that you like were making an active choice to prepare for. But you did describe that you found yourself like doing things like you had kids, and then you also just like because you had kids you knew that you had to work. So I guess like having had, I feel like this sounds so bad, but this is what you said, so it's okay. Having had no preparation, or also though, do you feel like even though you didn't necessarily like make a plan, like a vision for yourself, do you feel like there were some things in life that like in hindsight you realized were maybe like in some way, like even if it was very basic and not that helpful, preparing you for like what did, if that makes sense?
Well, I just think that the way that children live is based on what they're shown.
True.
So I just saw my mom get up and go to work. My dad, he was in and out, and I don't think she spent a lot of time telling me like prepare for life or you can do this or what do you think about doing that. So when I got ready, when I was in it as an active parent, I tried to have those conversations. What do you like to do? What are you interested in? What you know to give you that foundation to think about. Wow, what do I want to do with my life? So I just think that that wasn't in that day and age when I was growing up, it just wasn't a thought.
I hear you.
We basically just did what you had to do, to make it to the next day. But in hindsight, I think that me having a relationship with God was definitely something that grounded me and kept me um, throughout the years because it gave me a moral compass and I knew what I could do, I knew what not to do. So I wasn't just out here just like willy nilly floating through, like, oh, I'm gonna try this and try that. I knew it had to be honorable, it had to be legal, it had to be, you know, I just would never have been able to live with myself creating a bad record for my children to have to think about their mom is a criminal, So I just think that
I'm sorry. I'm grateful for that. That just sounds, I don't know why, it was just so funny. Like, anyways,
but
continue.
I think that that's what helped me.
Mm.
And that also my relationship with God gave me more perspective and more insight on how to raise my children and how to help them, even though I didn't have the ability or not I had the ability. I never knew the concept of preparation. It helped me to try to instill that into you guys, like thinking about what do you want to do, what do you want to be, what type of life you want to live. And I just remember having conversations with all of you. And I remember specifically with my oldest son telling him, I don't care what you do. I just want you to be able to say that you're successful for you. Because your success doesn't have to match my success. But if you feel like you're successful, then I'm proud of you because you're successful.
Yeah.
So everyone's success is different. My success might be having a $25,000 house, if that's possible now. But your success might be having a $300,000 condo. Everybody's success looks different.
Right.
So, how do you feel like preparation has prepared you, or blessed you, or equipped?
Well, like she said, in my childhood, I did have more opportunities to like think about, the role that preparation could play, and like think about some of these things, like all throughout my life, and not have to like wait till I was out of high school to start thinking about like maybe what do I want to do, all these things. So I think for my life, I don't know. I don't really know the earliest time that I had like conversations with people around preparing for things. But I do know that all my life I've been kind of obsessed with preparation. Like low key, I was one of those people, which I would have. Anyways, I was gonna say I was one of those people that would prepare so much they don't do anything. except things. It was not because I didn't want to do things or I couldn't. It was the things I was preparing for was just literally so far away. It was like nothing to do. Like I was in like elementary school watching college videos. Like oh my gosh, like let me learn the process. Like what's the application process like? Like what are people saying about the schools that I think I'm interested in? What are they saying about this like field of work that I'm maybe interested in? But it was like this. It was my preparation. In hindsight, I think it was still nice because I feel like college was something that was always so on my radar. It's something that I really just wanted like so bad. It was I don't really even know why. I mean, I guess just I did like school and I liked learning and I just knew I wanted to go to college. And so yeah, and there were just also like so much content out there on YouTube for me to suck up. Like, oh my gosh, like this is what the college students of today are saying. But I'm literally in fifth grade. Like, girl, it's so far from now when you're gonna be applying to college. And it kind of was like annoying because I would be so excited, but then be like, there's literally no action step that's like right now. Like literally every single thing I could possibly do is in the future. Except I guess like get good grades now, which yeah, it was just yeah. So that's one thing. I feel like preparation has always been like very top of mind. Like, oh my gosh, like I want to know like exactly what it's gonna take to get to this thing that I might be able to apply for in 4 years. Was kind of like my younger self. But then obviously you get to a point where you do start making decisions. You're in high school and you can decide what club you want to be in or all these things. You start having more autonomy. And so I think since then, like being a part of like clubs and opportunities that can like get me to learn more about just anything. Like I was in this program that's like I think it's in Georgia only, called 21st Century Leaders. And through that program, I got to go to like these summer camps where they would be like specifically focused on like certain career like fields. So like I went to one that was like about media, and it was really nice because I got to like go to like CNN and just check out like Adult Swim and like learn the different like I guess jobs that fit within like the media umbrella, which was already a field I was interested in. But then I also got to go to one that was business related, and I wasn't particularly interested in business, but in general, just to be able to understand like kind of what goes into like making like a pitch and like what goes into like I don't know, yeah, all just different business stuff. But I think being in those spaces, whether it was something I was very interested in or not, I was able to like connect with other students my age. I was very shy at the time, so I also was able to get practice with like talking to people and just sharing stuff about myself and all these things. So I think preparation, one, I would say one as I guess way that preparation has played a role in my life is like being blessed to be a part of these spaces that can kind of give me insights into things that like I know you were talking about earlier, like sometimes people don't see anything else. They don't have anything else to see. And so it makes me think of every time I think of that general concept of when you don't even know what you don't know, I think about math class for me in ninth grade. I used to be so confused in there. And I had a teacher, it was a very small school. And my teacher, he's a very sweet man. Like I love him. Like when I see him in the streets, I'm like, yo, what's up? I'm just not really a math girl. Like that's how I always felt. And so it kind of was just I would come to math with this thought that it's just already not going to work. And then I get in there to sweet professor. At my school, it was an early college school, so they were preparing us when we got to the college, so we can call it right professor. Anyways, I would get in there, sweet guy, small class. There's about 5 people, maybe even 3, that really just got it. Like they know everything in the class. Every time he says anything, they already immediately understand it. They just run with it. And then there's about 10 of the rest of us, or maybe 6 or 7 of the rest of us that we don't really get it on the first try every time. Like maybe it takes more explaining. But literally and he was like I said, he was very sweet. So he would just be like, "What's your question?" And I would be like, "Bro, like literally, I don't even have a question. Like,
All of it.
what? I don't even understand what's happening. I can't even formulate a question because I genuinely have no base of like understanding anything that's happening right now." And so I always think about that. It's kind of like I think earlier in my life, before I kind of was able to think more deeply about like things I see in the world and what I want to contribute, all these things, I was blessed to be a part of things where like I could learn about stuff without having to have a question about it. You know what I'm trying to say? Um, and so then once I was able to think more deeply and have questions, I had some basis of like, I don't know, knowledge, where I feel like some people maybe they don't get that opportunity. So I think that's one way that preparation has played a role because yeah, I think yeah, if you're able to see stuff before you even have a question, it already expands your worldview before you even have experiences or whatnot. But then beyond that, since then, I would say there's many things that I've kind of decided that I would like to see in my life, and I think I'm trying to learn more about also how to rely on my like relationship with God. Like how can I strengthen that relationship to like read more of the like writings directly from God that help me think about like, okay, this is what my life like these are some of the principles I should be trying to align myself with, and how do those principles help me to be prepared for opportunities that come my way or like challenges that come my way or yeah, I was about to say opportunities again. Yeah, so that's also a way. Yeah, and then beyond that, I think just action, because sometimes I can kind of freak, like get very in my head about just everything, just going on and on about like, and then what if this happens? And then what if just wanting to be prepared for any little thing. But when I get to that point, after I've read some writers that give me some insights, and then I think about like any background experience knowledge I have, at that point it's just like, okay, just do the thing, and then you'll learn and be more prepared for the next time, kind of thing. I try to get myself out of my head a little bit when I get very locked in, like, and what if? And it's like, girl, just do it. Just try it out, see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I know also that I am an overthinker, and sometimes that it's like shooting yourself in the foot. But you always do want to be prepared. You want to be prepared for any scenario.
Yeah.
And it's hard for you to know every scenario. So
Yeah.
most times you do just have to get out there and do it. And I am so grateful for the 21st Century Leaders, because I actually saw that program literally pull you out of your shell, and it gave you a foundation to present yourself to the world. And I think that was a great opportunity for you.
Yeah.
And for myself, I think that I'm in the same place. I've been preparing now for my new life, my new child-free life.
She's so funny. I think she's forgetting that she still has children. They're just older, y'all. Can
They're
y'all
adults.
put that in the caption?
They are
comments?
Adults. I only have one child. I have 3 adult children.
Don't they say that like they're always your children?
They're
Put that
adults.
in the comments, y'all.
They're
Team
adults.
always children.
So I'm preparing for my new life. And I'm thinking now that I do have some things written down. I do have some different directions that I want to go in. And it's just about putting my feet to the ground to get it done. And I think just being here in this space, figuring it out with you guys, this was definitely something that I wanted to do, and we're doing it. So grateful to have you guys along for the ride.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Vibes.
So don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, like and share. Also comment in the comments below. Let me know, are you a parent that is getting ready to experience a new life because your children are adults? I would love to hear from you.
Or are you a parent that no, I'm just kidding. I don't know what I was about to say, but she's funny. Yeah, let us know what y'all feel like. What were some of the things that you feel like prepared you for the life you're currently living, or even some next steps that you feel like will prepare you for the life that you want to live.
That's right. As we continue to figure it out with you. Bye.